Hey everyone, it's CJ here. I'm going to talk to you about some trading issues today. You may have seen a video I made a couple of months ago about whether or not the TF2 economy was crashing, because at the time the value of keys was dropping right down, and the value of keys in refined went down to about 13 refined metal. Meanwhile, buds went up to about 15 keys. At the time I said that things would stabilize, and they did. The price of keys stopped degenerating. They stayed at 13 ref for a while. But I also said that things wouldn't be permanently fixed unless something was done about the relationship between refined and keys and this massive reservoir of metal that we have, with a lot of players hoarding metal in their backpacks. Since then, the price of keys has gone back to increasing and increasing to the current climate, which has them around 19 refined and higher. In comparison, the price of buds has gone down and down and down to the most recent valuation, where they've dropped down to 5 keys. Because of this kind of random association, this random changes with the buds, it's prompted backpack.tf, this kind of centralized website which looks at your backpacks and takes down the values of items. They have decided to remove buds as a currency. What this means is that buds will no longer be used as a valuation of items or as a currency for trades traditionally. This means that values of items in people's backpacks have been changed to key values, and this key value is taken from the last stable price of buds, which was around 2 months ago. To use the example that they used, if an item was valued at 1 bud a couple of months ago, buds were around 12 keys. That item is now going to be worth 12 keys. This means that backpack values have gone all over the place. Personally, my backpack value went up overnight by about $4,000, and since then it's then dropped by about $1,500. The prices keep changing all over the place as item prices keep changing. The individual items of hats are all over the place as well. For example, my Scorching Wraith Wrap, which was valued at around 60 buds not long ago, has gone up to nearly 130 earbuds. Also, my vintage Lugomorph with Community Sparkle has gone from 30 to about 90. And other hats like my Confetti Antlers, my Scorching Blighted Beak, and my Scorching Tyrant's Helm are now valued at around the 50 bud mark, which are all tripled in price. In general, what does this mean? It means it's going to be very confusing for people. Prices are going to be all over the place. A week ago, an item that was worth 10 buds is not actually worth 10 buds anymore. It's worth a different price. So be careful about getting scammed by people. Don't go trading for buds unless you're absolutely sure the deal that you are getting is going to be safe and worthy of your time. Because at the moment, like I said, if I'd sold my hat for 60 buds before, it's now worth twice that amount. But it's an understandable change. The prices of buds have been so unstable, dropping in such a short time down to such a small value. It means that they can't be really used as a default currency anymore. You really can't have, you don't want to having a deal, a trade, and then losing out on that because the currency changes its value so drastically overnight. Question that a lot of people are asking is why? Why is this happening? If you want a lot of details about how the TF2 economy changes, the prices of things change, and the values of everything change, you should check out my old video. I went into a lot of detail about how prices change and the history between keys, refined, and buds, and their role in the TF2 trading economy. To give you a short reference though, as the value of keys goes up and up, due to varying circumstances, the prices of buds go down and down, and this is all linked very keenly. That's an awful pun, I'm sorry. It's centralized around the fact that the price of ref, the monetary value of refined metal, it keeps going down. This is because there are so many players playing and so much metal being crafted, because there are so many people crafting their items, that with the amount of metal available, people are able to buy these keys for the extraordinary prices. They're able to hoard this metal. So unless something is done about this metal sink, this metal reservoir that we have, we need a metal sink, something to put that metal into. Nothing will change. So the key prices have just continued to rise to now where they're nearly at 20 refined each. Another thing is that people are looking at it as a good change, in the fact that keys are actually useful things. Keys, have an intrinsic value in that they can open crates, so that they actually have a use, whereas earbuds don't have a use. They are just a cosmetic that was used as a kind of evaluation of multiple keys. So the big question is, what now? Well, unusuals will be bought and sold primarily in keys. People obviously still use buds as something just the same way that they use other unusuals, or they use Max's heads, they use Bill's hats, any other kind of thing like that. Has a value to it, and you can still trade with it, but they will not be seen as a formal currency. The big problem with this is that high value hats are going to be much more difficult to trade. Buds were seen as a way of condensing down the number of keys you have in your backpack. If you've got 20 keys, it was much easier to have something like 2 buds in your backpack instead. For example, if you're going out with some friends to a bar, are you more likely to take $40 in $1 coins, or 40 euros in €1 coins, or are you going to take two 20 euro notes? It's much easier to carry around, and it takes up less space. The same principle applies to the relationship between keys and buds. But now that buds are not going to be used as a currency, how are you going to do high value trades? For example, my Scorching Wraith wrap is worth key value about 700 keys. Now, the maximum slots available in a backpack is 2,000. That's if you have 40 pages, which is the maximum amount of backpack expanders will allow you to go to. But what about items that are worth a lot more? What about the Burning Team Captains and the Burning Killer exclusives? Those hats that are worth a lot more. How are you going to trade for those if you can only store a maximum of 2,000 keys in your backpack? The only alternative is to have multiple accounts, multiple backpacks, and store keys in there, but then you still get the issue of trading with people. You have to trade with multiple accounts, and it just opens up people to more scams. So high value trading, I'm not saying is dead, but it's severely damaged by this change. It's going to make it a lot more difficult. But to summarize, nothing is going to change until something is done about the saturation of refined metal in the market at the moment. Valve needs to step in, and they've tried it with collector's items, they've tried it with other things, like I said in my previous video, but there needs to be something that stops all of this metal floating around in the market, causing the key prices to continue to rise. As always, guys, thank you for listening, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be really interested to see a discussion open about this.